Gear Patrol calls their new dive watch the best sub-$500 dive watch. Full stop. Men's Health rated them as the most stylish solar watch in the game. Who are we talking about? It's Movement. They're leveling up your gift giving with the sleekest watches you can buy and the biggest deals of the season. Shop 30 to 50% off Movement's innovative California clean watches, jewelry, and accessories with fast free shipping and returns now at mvmt.com. That's mvmt.com.
At Sleep Outfitters Outlet, great sleep is a big deal. Save 40 to 60% every day on every Sealy, Stearns & Foster, and Tempur-Pedic. Queens as low as $249. Customer exchanges, closeouts, and floor samples. Inventory changes daily, so come in for your dream deal today. With no credit needed financing, expert advice, and up to 60% off retail, it's never been easier to get the sleep and savings you deserve. Go to sleepoutfittersoutlet.com for financing details and to find a store near you.
Hey guys, welcome to the 16th episode of Three Terrible Gamers, here with Colin as always. And we have a lot to talk about today. A lot went on this week in gaming news, so let's go ahead and just jump right into it. We got the critic scores for you guys for God of War and Sonic Frontiers, so let's go ahead and just start with God of War, Colin.
God of War, what was it, a 94 Metacritic? From what my research had shown as of yesterday.
Yep.
I mean, obviously it's a good game. Personally, wouldn't know. PlayStation has mentioned before. But, you know, when it comes down to it, God of War has always been a good series, so I think the 94% is pretty accurate from what they're given.
Yep. All right. Go ahead and hit Sonic Frontiers.
Well, I'll see how it is. Sonic Frontiers came in way behind at 72%. So, obviously, not as good as a game as God of War Ragnarok. But at the same time, I think it's higher than, I think, the past 10 years of Sonic games combined. Like, not combined, like, obviously, score-wise, but I think it scored higher than the last 10 years of Sonic when they released. Obviously, they don't release every single year, but it's higher than what it's the highest it's been in 10 years. There's what I was trying to look for.
Yeah. Well, that's just because Sonic games hasn't been great the past 10 years, arguably 20 years.
But
yeah,
you slap an open world and it automatically gets that much better.
Yeah, most of the time. Sometimes they mess it up. But yeah, God of War, Ragnarok. I mean, that's just, at least in 94, that's really expected on a God of War game. If it's not in at least 90 or high 80s, there's something, it's concerning, really. But God of War, they always score pretty high because they're always just pretty good games. They always throw their best developers on board, so. As a first party title, I guess, exclusive for PlayStation. But yeah, you said 94 had 126 positive, 0 mixed, and 0 negative for the critic side. And that's pretty good. Having 0 mixed and 0 negative, that's hard to do for a game.
Yes, it is.
And 8.3 for the user, 8.3 out of 10. Sonic Frontier 72, 35 positive, 22 mixed, and 3 negative. The main complaint I've seen is the story. It seemed like it was more thrown in than built the game around it. Like they knew they wanted to make it open world, and then they threw the story in. Is basically what people feel like is going on, which may be the case. And then on the critic side, it actually had a higher user. I mean, that's on the critic side. On the user score, it actually had a higher user score than God of War at 8.7 versus 8.3. But that's just just people coming in there and rating it on Metacritic. So that's nothing to look really into. I would say God of War is probably the better game, but that doesn't mean that Sonic Frontiers isn't a good game, because I've seen a lot of reviews on it, and a lot of people just say that the story is not, it's just thrown in, but the actual gameplay itself, it feels really good. And Sonic, he controls well, and just the open world, it's good to explore and everything. So it seems like that they are pretty happy compared to the past Sonic games we've got recently.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the reason why Sonic probably scores so high on the personal level was because it's obviously on every single console. While, like you said, God of War is only on PlayStation.
Yeah, and a lot of people have been wanting a good Sonic game for a long time. So they said that it just feels like the old 3D Sonic games, like Sonic Heroes and Sonic Adventure and stuff like that. They say it goes back that far to feel like a good game again. So I'll probably end up picking it up on the Switch eventually, just to try it out.
Sounds like a
Yep. All right, moving on. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet leaks early, and it's not supposed to release until November 18th. But what do you think about just video game? Like, it seems like almost every new video game recently has been leaked early. What do you think about that?
I mean, this one being less. I mean, at this point in time of recording, it's less than a week until it gets released.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, it sucks for developers since it's supposed to be a whole entire thing. It sucks for people in the community that actually keep up with it too. But at the same time, it's also,
Yeah.
I guess, a curse and a blessing at the same time, because you get, if you are interested in a game and you can't wait to see it for yourself, do whatever, then, you get to see it, see what it's, I mean, not necessarily all what it's like, but you get to see how it's going to be, what it is, which the research that I've done, spoiler alert, I mean, obviously it has nothing to do with the story, but it has, in the leaks, it has 16 Paradox Pokemon, which I don't know I'm assuming it's a type, like, they got different stones and everything, so I'm assuming it's like something like that. Never been a huge Pokemon person, so don't crucify me over this. And then I think it released all the evolutionary lines of every single Pokemon it's in the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was the beginning. I think now the actual, like, the full game is out. Like, the whole ROM and everything, like, for both games is out. So for pirates out there that emulate illegally, they are able to grab the game. There are spoilers, like you said, the evolutions for all the new Pokemon and stuff. There are parts of the story, but a lot of people, they're like, what can you really spoil in a Pokemon game? But this Pokemon game specifically is the first of its kind. Yeah, Legends Arceus was open world, but that was not really a spinoff, but kind of like a spinoff. It's not a main Pokemon game. So these are main Pokemon games that are open world to an extent. So it's the first of its kind. So I guess that's more of a spoiler. Just people, this topic's basically a warning to a lot of you, because a lot of you are Pokemon fans. Just watch for spoilers online if you don't like spoilers. So, just it seems like every new game recently has leaked early. God of War did. Sony themselves leaked it. And then Sonic Frontiers did, and other games. So I don't know if it's just developers just can't wait to get it out and they're leaking a little bit of stuff, or if it's just people getting early copies and they're not following the rules like they should. If that's the case, I could see a future that different developers or different companies won't give early access copies anymore for review. which would suck. The
Yeah,
people ruining it for everybody, but I don't like them leaking early. I'd rather wait until it's time and then read reviews about it after everybody's got it, instead of seeing stuff that I'm not supposed to see yet. But
oh yeah, but you think it's different when it was 20 years ago when we first started playing games.
oh yeah, it is.
That's still rough to say. 2 decades ago.
Old. No, but we've never been real big Pokemon fans, like you said. I think we just collected cards a little bit when we were younger, but mainly done Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, maybe done Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, as an adult, I went back and I bought the original, I think Pokemon Red, and played it a little bit, and
On the Game Boy?
Well, whatever. I can't remember what I think it was on the 3DS. Yeah, it was on the 3DS.
Oh, Virtual Console.
Yeah. And I mean, I didn't buy the actual original one for the Game Boy, because obviously I don't got an actual Game Boy.
Yeah.
Original dinosaur, anyways. But I played a little bit of it on there, but other than that, no, I never got into it gaming wise.
Yeah, I never really got into it. I mean, I watched the cartoon when I was little, but I never got into the games, except for last year when Pokemon Legends Arceus came out. I got it, and then it was really fun. I even got Summer and Cole into it, and they really enjoyed it. It's pretty fun. With it being an open world, and you can pretty much do whatever you want. You can go around catching different, species and stuff with Pokemon, and that's pretty fun. And but the mainstream Pokemon, I've tried to get into it. I just can't, because it's more of the right, which Arceus is 2. You take a turn, they take a turn, whatever. But you can train your Pokemon so much. By the time you meet them, a lot of the time you can just kill them one. Like, you attack first and you kill them one hit. Like, you're that strong if you train them that much, which I did for most of mine.
Well, from what little bit I played on the original, it was pretty much the same way. If you just say, for instance, my starter that I chose was Charmander, I went through and I just ranked them up to Charizard max level, and the time at that point, like you said, at the same time for the original game, it was one hit for most battles.
Yeah, it may be something to get into a little bit. I may try going back to play the old ones or something, but for right now, Legends Arceus is pretty fun. I hope they keep that Legends series going. But moving on, got a little into the weeds there.
Support for Three Terrible Gamers is brought to you by Manscaped, the best of the best in men's below-the-waist grooming.
Recently, I have been using Manscaped Performance Package 4.0, which includes the Lawnmower 4.0. This trimmer is the future of grooming, and I dare say the greatest ball trimmers ever. The Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof and also has a 4000K LED spotlight, which helps to reduce the risk of ingrown hairs and grooming accidents.
You thought that was good, but want to take your grooming game even further to the next level? The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your grooming must-haves.
Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels.
So if you want to join us in our smooth ball fall movement, I have a deal for you. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code 3TG at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code 3TG. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job at Manscaped.
Now let's get back to the Free Terrible Gamers.
Nintendo financial report for Q2.
Wow, Nintendo financial report has appeared. So Q2 sales, I think it was $2.41 billion, but they only netted $771 million in profits from it, which is still a lot.
Right.
I mean, it's just under half and then some is what they walked away with. But you think the time that actually goes in the time making the material and then obviously paying all the employees.
Right.
I mean, they came out obviously $771 million richer as a company in just one quarter from the last.
Yep. I got the numbers here. Hardware was actually down 19.2%.
Oh, I thought I seen like 17%. It may have changed a little bit.
It may have, but software was up 1.6%. So do you think that hardware being down 19.2%, is that a sign that the Switch is slowing down on sales? Because the Switch has been selling and selling and selling ever since it came out. So do you think this is just a hiccup, or you think it's going to start trending down?
Well, I mean, the Switch has been around for 5 years. It's pretty much time for it to start toning down of what they are going to get out of sales. So, I mean, it makes sense that it's just naturally dropping. Granted, almost 20% is not a good thing, but at the same time, it could be
Right.
time for them to reinvest on either making a different type of Switch, not counting the OLED, or just doing something else with it. But at the end of the day,
Still next gen.
like I said, it's just nature of how the stuff falls. The consoles, you bet what normal consoles last 7 years roughly before a new techno generation. So I mean, yeah, technically the Switch is coming to an end generation.
Yeah. Okay. I've seen a lot of people online were saying that it's the end of the Switch. The Switch is dying. You got to think, as of right now, there's 114.33 million units sold. That's counting the Switch, the Switch Lite, and the OLED. But think, that's a lot of Switches out there. So there's only so many people you can sell to. So if a lot of people in the world have Switches, then yeah, it's going to slow down. And like you said, it's 5 going on 6 years in March. It's time it's going to start slowing down. I don't think it's going to just completely stop and nobody's going to buy a Switch. No, that's not it. But it is going to slow down.
Well, I mean, I was doing another little bonus topic is the Wii U got released on November 18th, 2012. So it basically lasted just under 5 years until the Switch came out. So, I mean, like I said, just naturally, it's about that time for it to technically be over anyways. And like you said, if that many people already have Switches, not counting the previous, 5 years of buying, like you said, it's just probably enough people's. Anybody's wanted a Switch has got a Switch at this point, basically.
Yeah. And now software, they've sold 117.59 million units. That's the most software Nintendo has ever sold for a console.
At Granger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call, clickgranger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
That's
Now, software counts like games and stuff, don't it?
Yeah, that's games, digital games, physical games, any games that's sold on their, whether it's their first party titles or not, it's all games sold on their console, for their console.
And I'm assuming like their version of VC and everything else.
Right, yeah. But just I'll give the top 3 here of all time on the Switch sold games wise. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, number 1 at 48.41 million units. Yeah. Animal Crossing New Horizons, 40.17 million. And Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, 29.53 million. And then I'll give you another one. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild at 27.79. So just Mario Kart 8 Deluxe itself, 48.41 million. And it's still selling. It's part of their Black Friday deal. It's going to keep selling. That's why they're not making it in Mario Kart 9.
Not bad, and I think they pretty much ran out of track ideas. That's why they're just now doing DLCs and stuff for previous.
Oh, I'm sure. It'd be hard to keep coming up with tracks and stuff. But just speaking of Splatoon 3, though, it's going to be in the top 10 for sure. Because in its first 3 weeks, it sold 7.9 million copies.
Yeah, we covered that on the previous way back episode.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't that high yet, but
it broke records for the first, what was it, week? Few days?
I think it was the first 3 days.
3 days. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely already carving a path. And as mentioned before, you can play online on it, and that's really the only first party Nintendo game that's mainly known for it. It's like pretty much Nintendo's Call of Duty.
Right. And I have never played a Splatoon, but I'd like to try out Splatoon 3. I know you've tried it out.
Gamefly, still not a sponsor.
Yeah. Yeah, but Nintendo, I think they'll give one more run for the Switch. They'll come out with one more version of the Switch before they call it done and go to next gen. I think it probably won't come out until 2000, maybe late next year. 2023, late 2023, early 2024.
Ashton's stamp of approval.
It's not a guarantee, but it is an approval. I think that they'll give one more run for the Switch before they call it done. I think they're still trying to catch the PS2 on the all-time top sold console.
Now, are you counting game exclusive consoles in that thing, or just an actual new Switch?
New Switch, like a 4K or some other type of revision. Not like if they come out with a Zelda Switch or something like that.
As you say, because that since they're trying to bring that back, especially with these next 2 Pokemon games, but they'll definitely do that with Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh yeah, they should. And if they do, I might have 3 Switches.
I have 3 Switches. Now you guys know that Ashton is responsible for 3 of their total buyouts, or 2 of their total buyouts.
2 right now. And Summer's in the she's listening, so she can hear me talking about it. I will buy a Zelda Switch if they come out with it. I just want you to know that. All right.
$400.
Hopefully it's not that much.
The time you pay for the game it goes with.
Yeah. They should just include it in the bundle and sell it for the same amount as the OLED and knock the OLED down to $300 and knock the V1 Switch to $250, or just quit selling it altogether.
Yep.
But I don't know. I'm not Nintendo, so I don't know what they do.
We just tell Nintendo what to do.
Yeah, I'm telling them what to do, but they don't care what I have to say. All right. Sony is reportedly working on a Horizon MMORPG. What's your opinion on that?
Project H is what it's referred to as in Sony headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
And yet again, it's another cinematic game that is switching over to massive multiplayer online. I mean, obviously the game's already an RPG, so, but for all of you guys that didn't know what MMO stands for, that's what it stands for. So they're changing the cinematic game and making it to kind of a World of Warcraft type of style.
Yeah. Yeah. Just all online.
If it works, yeah, it's all online only. I mean, I know companies have flirted with it in the past, but Sony it's usually a third party, like it's usually Activision that tries stuff like that, not necessarily a first party.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it works, good for them, but at the same, but they could also be looking at it like what I said with Splatoon. It's not really, I mean, yeah, I guess technically it would be to an extent an MMO because it is, but at the same time it counts as a shooter because it's still like 6 on 6 for the most part. But as far as it being like an open world, like I said, kind of like a World of Warcraft situation. But I think the downside of it is where it usually has that cinematic experience to it. I think it'll withdraw from the gameplay a little bit. Because you can't make something
Yeah,
that
I agree.
good and be all
Right.
suffering
It'll lag
servers
too
and
bad.
everything else.
Unless you got which I'm assuming, I haven't seen, I'm guessing they're just going to release it on PS5. I'm assuming.
Which makes it even harder to have good graphics and still keeping the game running smooth.
Right, unless they would just release it on PC, which they're not going to.
No. It'll probably go to both PlayStation and PC.
Yeah. Which I think a lot of games from Microsoft and Sony in the future will release both on PC and their dedicated platform.
Oh yeah, that seems like a common go-to, and only people that don't do that is Nintendo.
Right, which they have talked about it, but I don't think they will.
Like I said, in the future, I say pretty much everything's gonna be cross-platform. That's third-party titles. I mean, like I said, you keep your few first-party titles, but like I said, in the next 20, 30 years, I'd say that it'll all be pretty much cross-platform game style.
And it should. Just that way everybody can play with each other and don't have to buy a specific console like we did back in the day.
Well, shoot, not even back in the day. Just a couple of years ago when we all decided to switch to play 2K.
Well, yeah. Well, 2K still hasn't made it cross-platform.
Mm-hmm. Yet again, it's just that convenience factor on everybody.
Yeah. But anyway, Horizon, they're doing a lot of stuff with the Horizon series. I mean, they came out, obviously, with the Horizon Zero Dawn back on PS4. Horizon Forbidden West just came out February this year. And there were reports of them already making a Horizon Zero Dawn remake on the PS5. And now they're reportedly having a Horizon MMORPG. So this series, it's a pretty cool series. I've always wanted to play it, but once again, no PlayStation to play it on. It just looks really, really cool to play. And I don't know how well this would work, it being that setting for that game. I don't know. They're smarter than I am, obviously, but I think it would just it'd be a weird game to try that with.
Yeah, because like I said, at World of War, that's what the game was made for, the whole shebang, and it's what people were used to. Like I said, you go from single player to, I won't over exaggerate probably, but 100 people in one party.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, even an extra person will make a big difference.
Yeah, and well, Sony apparently with Horizon Forbidden West wanted multiplayer, but Guerrilla Games, who developed the game, they kind of just put it on a shelf for a later series, and this may be that later series. I don't know. So, it could be cool with it being part of the Horizon series, but we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. All right, moving on to our last topic of the day. Netflix is making a Gears of War film. A lot of gaming films coming out in the open now. Seems like we're talking about one every week.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, it's been ever since video games have existed. I'm not going to say video games existing because I still haven't seen a film yet. But,
yeah,
like, as far as console gaming goes, like I said, it started out with Super Mario Brothers. You know, it was out for, I think, 3 or 4 years, and then they got a TV series. So, I mean, basically, since the beginning of gaming, that's always been a thing.
Yeah.
And with hits like Sonic and everything else in the past couple of years, everyone's like, okay, we need to try it with all these different franchises that have been out. Because Gears of War has been out for almost right at 20 years now. 16 years?
16 years.
I was thinking It came out in 04.
Yeah, I looked it up the other day.
But still, they've been out for
almost 20 years.
But the part that I liked about the background of it was, I think Dave Bautista is in on it. So I think he's going to be one of the main characters in the film part of it.
He wants to be pretty bad. I seen him online. He was posting a picture of him in the armor. And he said, yeah, I'm ready to go whenever you guys want to start it.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm excited over it, in all honesty, but at the same time, it's pointless. It's been done, again, since the beginning of console gaming, so it's a trope that's pretty much wore down, and I don't think it's going to stop until every major company has touched.
No, I don't think it will. Like, I mean, we got the Mario Brother coming out. We got Gears of War, but we got Metal Gear Solid, and
it's still a rumor.
I
said that's still in a rumor stage.
The Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, was it not rumorified? I know we covered
it. Was, but they pretty much confirmed it.
I still can't remember until it happens. Like, Gears of War is happening.
Oh yeah, they've already announced it. But like in the past, they've done Resident Evil, and they even have a Halo TV series on Paramount Plus. So there's a lot of gaming stuff out there, which is pretty cool. But not every game needs to be part of a movie. It just needs to be in a game. But Gears of War, that's one that could be really cool, because I played the first 3 Gears of War games all the way through, and I didn't play 4 all the way through, but 4 or 5. Yeah, there's 5 of them now. I played the first 3, but not the last 2 all the way through. I did play them. They're really fun games, and I think that's something that Netflix could really work with making a good movie for, is Gears of War. Just the way the story plays out and everything, and all the characters. But after the film's done, they want to also make an adult animated series to go with it. So it'd be a TV series after the movie's over.
So like kind of like a Futurama, the Family Guy, Simpson type situation?
Yeah, I guess they just keep it on going. And then they said there also could be more after that animated series. So we'll just have to wait and see how it all goes. But in my opinion, doesn't matter much, but in my opinion, this is the game that makes the most sense to make a movie out of. Just the way everything is set up in the game itself.
Don't tell Sony that was Spider-Man.
Well, Spider-Man,
Didn't have movies for a while.
Don't even get me started on Tom Holland.
Tom Holland's gonna be the next Zelda.
No, he's not. Yeah, he can be Zelda because he's a girl. Look at him. That ain't a man. That ain't Spider-Man. Spider-Woman. That ain't a... Might as well have had Zendaya be Spider-Man in the movie. Anyway, if Tom Holland is in Gears of War, I'm not watching it.
Gears of War, you mean Legend of Zelda?
Either. He's in everything now, apparently. So if they put him in Gears of War, I'm not watching it. If they put it in Zelda, I'm not watching it. I haven't watched the new Spider-Man. I've watched one Spider-Man with him in it, and I didn't like it, so I didn't watch the rest. He's just not
I
Spider-Man.
can't say anything. I've watched all the Avengers movies, so he's in a couple.
Yeah, he shouldn't be. The first 3 Spider-Man movies are the best. They should have just left him alone after that.
I believe that's all the time we have for today, though, isn't it? All topics, anyways.
Yeah. Well, it's time to. So, yeah, just went ahead and switched over our YouTube channel to both of our podcasts. It's called Two Terrible Podcasts now, so it has both of ours on there instead of just under the Three Terrible Gamers. But go subscribe there.
Third podcast.
Yeah, we'll have 3 eventually, but not right now. Get these up and noticed first. Then we work on our third one. We already have plans for a third one, but not yet. But yeah, just follow us on Instagram. Consider becoming a patron, join our Discord, all that stuff. Colin, you have anything?
No, I think you hit everything. Just don't forget to check out our sponsors somewhere in this episode.
Yep, it'll be about in the middle. And share our podcast with a friend that enjoys gaming. Or even if they don't enjoy gaming, just share it with them anyway.
We are hoes. Toss us around and use us for your gaming news.
That's right. Gaming news throughout the week. So. All right, see you guys later.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.